in gear?
Well, I don't think that we can use that as any kind of an excuse. I think that the first game we weren't as sharp as we needed to be, but every game after fairly well in. I thought we had numerous opportunities to take the games away, and we only found that in one of the games, and that's the disappointing part. You always have to give your opposition credit. They came in and they won all three games that we played in our building, and from that standpoint, you can't expect to win too many playoff rounds if you don't win in your own building, and that's one thing that we didn't capitalize on in this series. Most important for us is our work ethic from our group and our resiliency. We worked right to the end and represented our hockey club and our organization with a strong work ethic.
Go ahead and follow up.
Looking at that, then, with all the young players that you do have in the lineup, it seemed to be kind of like a high-risk, high-reward type thing. How optimistic, then, are you looking at the future of this club, given some of these young guys?
Again, I think it's, it looks bright on paper, but you have to live it. I think at times the names that you have on your roster at times don't really, come to the forefront if you don't play a solid team game because of the competitive have taken place. And the one thing that we're most proud of is that our group has learned along the way. We've had some experience with our younger players. We have more younger players coming along. And this experience of the playoffs and the success and the failures should bode well for the future. But it's going to be our responsibility as a coaching staff and as management to make sure that the bar is even set higher, because we feel with our younger players getting this experience that we're going to push to a higher level.
Take the next question down here in the front.
Joseph DiPolito, Reuters. Coach, what do you think was the most effective thing that Edmonton did tactically between the first and the second period, or was it a tactical kind of thing? Because they seemed slow in the first period. In the second period, they were more aggressive with their forechecking, this sort of thing.
They were more aggressive, and we turned the puck over in a couple of situations that we didn't. And, the too many men on the ice penalty, really, they didn't score as per se statistic-wise on it. But the player didn't get a chance to get back into the play, and that was really the difference in the hockey game, is they scored on their power play with the too many men on the ice penalty, and we did not when we had those opportunities.
Take this question here.
So when you look at the series, if you look at everything, was it a matter of, do you think, strategies, or just a matter of, like you said, just not taking advantage of the opportunities that you do have when you look at all of the games as a whole?
Well, I look at the games I thought we played well in. I didn't think, as I stated earlier, we didn't play very good in the first game as far as our sharpness and effectiveness with the puck. But I thought for the other games that we carried the momentum of the hockey games, and it just seemed that they'd come down and after us hemming them in their end and doing a lot of good things, we couldn't get it across the goal line, and they'd come down and they'd have a little bit of flurry and they'd get results for it. And sometimes that's the veteran issue of it, and other times we were guilty of not shooting the puck enough, and I think they did a heck of a job in blocking the passing lanes and blocking shots for their group. And in the end, it was a one-goal game that beat us. And tonight it was probably more of a replica of the first two games. There were 2-1 hockey games, and tonight they didn't score in the empty net. Was really the difference in all three games here.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Anaheim Mighty Ducks head coach Randy Carlyle. His team goes down 2-1 to the Edmonton Oilers in Game 5 and 4-1 in the series. Oilers moving on to the Stanley Cup final. Randy Carlyle talked about the start that his team had. They were quicker than the Oilers in the first period, but Edmonton weathered the storm, and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, that is the type of hockey they need to play to be successful.
Well, he talked about their work ethic and how he was proud of the fact that the Anaheim Mighty Ducks really did continue with that work ethic, and that's something to be very proud of. And in that first period of play, there was absolutely no question that the Anaheim Mighty Ducks were planning on winning this hockey game, and the way that they came out was rather significant because that's what you would expect from a team who had the momentum after winning Game 4. But what the Ducks did well, they went after Rolison, they screened in front of him, and they ended up with 14 shots. They had 4 power play opportunities. They did score that 1 power play goal. And so coming out of that first period, they probably felt that they deserved to have a bigger lead than they had, but they had to feel good about the way that they played. But that did not carry over then into the second period, and give the Edmonton Oilers full credit, because for the first 10 minutes of that second period of play, the Edmonton Oilers came out as though they meant for sure to finish off this series in this game, not in Game 6 back in Edmonton.
And they would eventually. 2-1, they get the victory over the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. But Randy Carlyle's talked about it all through the series with the Edmonton Oilers. We need traffic in front. We need to distract the goaltender, Dwayne Rolison. They did, and that's what got the scoring started in this game for the Mighty Ducks.
Well, we'll go back and take a look at this goal because it was exactly that. It was, in fact, a screen setup, and a good one at that. Now, you've got Niedermayer on the point. He could have stopped right there and shot the puck. But stop it right there, because you can see that that shot's coming from Beauchemin. And what you've got in front here is an incredible screen. And that screen is set up not just by a player for the Ducks, I believe that was Getzlaf in behind, but it was set up really by Pronger and Smith for the Oilers. There was not a chance that Rolison could see that puck, not at all. And Beauchemin ended up just taking his time. He made sure that he got that puck right straight down the middle practically. But again, the big screen set up in front of Rolison, and it kind of indicates too that if Rolison can see it, he's going to stop it. But on that particular occasion, there was not a chance that Dwayne Rolison could be faulted for that goal.
No, it went in, but it was the only one that went in on Dwayne Rolison. Edmonton Oilers with a 2-1 victory, and they are moving on to the Stanley Cup Final. Stay with us. More live post-game press conferences when we come back. This is NHL on the Fly.
This program is brought to you by XM Satellite Radio. Hockey 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. By Bud Light, proud sponsor of the NHL and Stanley Cup playoffs. And by RBK, I am what I am.
Cleopatra, hello.
Good pirate.
Thanks.
Wow, cool costume.
Thanks. I was up all night making it.
I'll be right back. Save my seat, boys.
Gentlemen.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Let's go back to Anaheim now. Post-game comments from Victoria's Edmonton Oilers, Chris Pronger, Ryan Smith, and others at the podium. Live coverage brought to you by XM Satellite Radio.
All those years in St. Louis, Chris, and coming over at the last minute on the deadline, Rolly, can you all talk about?
Well, I think obviously it's a great feeling, and Stanley Cup Finals. It's got a great ring, but we still got a ways to go yet. But we'll cherish this one for a little bit and then get back on track and find out who we play next. But great opportunity and a great challenge. A lot of respect for Anaheim. They, down 3-0 in the series. They played hard against us in Game 4 and then put up a good fight tonight. But I think the depth of our hockey club really prevailed.
You know what? Just coming here, there was obviously a lot of question marks and a lot of media speculation about some of the players on our team and who could step up, and if we had a number one center, if Hammer was going to get it going, if Stoley and Tico, and I think as the season progressed, we saw those questions answered, and it was exciting to be a part of that, and obviously acquiring Dwayne at the deadline and getting that last piece of the puzzle that has ultimately got us to the finals now. It's exciting to be a part of, and Happy for the guys. Guys that have been here a number of years and been through the lean years. Really happy for them, and it's first time for me as well. So.
Go ahead, right down here in the front.
Oh yeah, it's after getting traded here, it was when I got traded here, I didn't before I got traded, I didn't think I was going to get traded to Edmonton. That was the last place I thought, and it was one of the best places that I wanted to go. My family wanted to come to Edmonton, and then when I got traded here, I was elated, and I know the team's work ethic and everything else, and we knew we had a chance to do something special as long as I played half decent and gave them a chance to win. And things have been working well for us as a team, and it's great. It's great to see guys like Gator and Ryan and Stevie and Ethan to get a chance to get here.
Now we'll go to Scott, sir.
Ryan, you've been in Edmonton a long time, lots of disappointments and close calls along the way. Is there a way to describe not just what it means to you, but the rest of the guys who've been there so long and the franchise as a whole?
Yeah, you go through your ups and downs through year to year, and you learn so much, and acquiring different players, whether it's at the deadline or at the start of the year or throughout the years that I've been around. Your ultimate goal is to excel in the playoffs and finally get yourself a chance to play for the Cup. But I played with the guy that we played tonight, Todd Marchant, and a guy that really was, a core guy in Edmonton. And I think, you see, once you go to different teams, it changes your dynamic of the team. And like I said earlier, I think we have a well-rounded team, and obviously it starts with Rolly and then right on out. But it's all about opportunity. I looked at you look at Calgary 2 years ago. Obviously, it started with Kiprusoff, and they had 4 solid lines, hard 6D to play against, and they made it all the way to Game 7. And that's what we wanted to do, is give ourselves an opportunity and our chance. And now we got that, and it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's a team effort that we've excelled in.
In the back.
Chris, can you talk about the penalty kill of your team the entire series? It seemed to be the big difference. Dwayne, you can talk about it too.
Well, it obviously starts with Rolly and making the saves, but we did a pretty good job overall. Obviously, in Game 4 with a number of 5-on-3s they had, they were able to get 1. But just keeping them to the outside and eliminating, they like to try to spread you out and get the seam passes and kind of backdoor passes, and by not running around the zone and pressuring when the puck went low, and obviously the ice plays into that, factors into when you're going to pressure as well. We did a great job up front of getting in shooting lanes, and then in the back end we pounced on the opportunity to press them when we had a chance, and obviously giving Rolly a chance to see the puck, he's going to make the save for us.
Quotations. It's our forwards did an unbelievable job, like trying to get in shooting lanes and denying them, the shot from the middle where they're getting the opportunity to get 2 or 3 guys there. And then our D were pressuring the guys to the outside, so they're always in shooting lanes. And if something did get through, they usually blocked it for me. And for those are key blocks for me. If I don't see them and then all of a sudden it goes off a knee and goes to the corner, then all of a sudden I can pick it up. So, guys made great blocks this whole series, and they got 1 tonight, but we did a good job towards the end when we had the 5-on-3 or 6-on-3 or whatever it was. Guys were laying down in front of shots and doing the smart things, just getting pucks out, and that's why we're having the success that we are, is because we're doing the little things and that make a big picture at the end.
It's an obvious question, but how huge is the special teams?
Well, I think that's probably been the difference in the series. Starting from your PK, I mean, deflecting everything, like you said, on the outside and keeping them off the score sheet. And then power play, once you get your chances. I think back in Game 1 and 2 back here, obviously we had a little bit of the flu bug, but we had guys fighting through it and finding a way to capitalize on the PP. And those sort of things change momentum in series from game to game. And in that sense, I think it made the difference.
Down the front here, guys.
Dwayne, can you talk a little bit about the fact that they took that 1-goal lead early and what it meant to have their crowd behind them and the way you guys came back in that second period?
Well, obviously, you never want to go down in any game, and for us to go down in the first period, it was as a team we've always been able to battle back. We did it against Detroit, San Jose. We did it tonight. So I wasn't thinking about anything else except for giving our guys a chance to win, and I knew they'd have the opportunity to get some chances, and when we did get the chances, we capitalized on them. Jiggy played a great game, and our guys were able to get a couple great goals for us and give us some boost.
Other one right down here to the left, guys.
Thank you. This is for all of the players. What were the biggest adjustments that the team made from Game 4 to Game 5, either tactically or in terms of attitude?
Well, I think the biggest thing was we needed to have a better work ethic, match their intensity and their physical play, and the biggest thing was not trying to chase them out from behind the net. A guy who can skate, probably the top 3 best skaters in the league, and Scott Niedermayer is going to beat you every time. And once you chase him out from behind the net, he's gone, and he's in the rush, and now you're chasing them. And we pulled our first man back a lot more and trapped a little higher up, and forced a lot more turnovers and forced them to try to throw the puck into traffic. And we did a lot better job of from our forwards of getting back and helping us out as defensemen once they got it in. And we were able to have more players back because of that higher first man.
Well, I think the big thing too was we playing on the road. We've been pretty successful on the road, and we wanted to make sure that we were not panicky, just get the puck in, not turning it over in the neutral zone, because they thrive on that, and obviously they got great speed that can kill. And our D did a good job stepping up in the neutral zone. Prongs mentioned the guy in the first guy coming back. You know what? We got back to the basics of hockey, and stops and starts, work ethic, and those were the difference in from Game 4 to 5.
Way over here to the right, guys.
Chris, you played with some pretty talented teams in St. Louis that never got this far. Maybe some people might argue this team doesn't have some of the talent those St. Louis teams had. What's the difference? How could this team do what maybe those teams couldn't?
Well, I think teamwork is the answer. And I wouldn't say we had big names, but I think you're going to see a number of the players on our team become big names. The Hemskys, the Horkoffs, the Stolls of our team are going to be stars in this league, and they're just not known yet. And we had good teams in St. Louis, but we never had this type of depth and this type of commitment to one another, and obviously having a goalie back there that is playing as well as Dwayne is right now was a big piece missing as well.
Down here in the middle left.
Dwayne, there was a lot of talk that since that last game that maybe the Ducks had figured you out, figured how to get the puck past you. Did you come in tonight taking this game as a personal challenge? What was your approach to that talk and coming into the night's game?
Honestly, I wasn't too worried about the last game. If you would have saw our locker room, you would have known why. But I felt great tonight, healthy again, and had a lot of energy where I didn't have it in the last game. And I wasn't really, the coaches can say what they want and do what they want. I respect Mr. Carlisle. He's a great guy. So he's got to do whatever it takes to try and generate some emotion and for his team. And we knew what was going on in our locker room, and we knew how to handle it. And I thought we did a great job just deflecting all the adversity that he was trying to stir up in our locker room.
Last question down here in the front.
Dwayne, there's still an ultimate goal at stake here, obviously, but can you talk about what a stunning transformation this is to go from your situation in Minnesota with and Manny's situation, the decision they made, and then you're playing in the finals?
Yeah, that's ultimately that was up to Mr. Riseborough, and they had to make a decision. So it's, I can't. I enjoy my time in Minnesota. I got a lot of great friends in Minnesota. I have a business there. I have a goalie school there that that I'm sure I'm not going to be stopping anytime soon. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm really happy where I am. Come to Edmonton. I was like I said earlier, I was elated to come here. I was so happy, and my family was just excited because my wife's parents lived here for a while, and so we had a lot of family friends in that there. So, and we knew that coming here that the team had a great chance, a great opportunity to do something special, and so far we're doing it. But we're not done yet. Hopefully, we can get 4 more wins.
Thank you, guys.
More post-game coverage when we return. You're watching NHL on the Fly.
This program is brought to you by Best Buy, presenting sponsor of the 2006 Stanley Cup Playoffs on the NHL Network.
Over the past 50 years, millions of Canadians have come to rely on the professionals at Speedy Muffler Brake and Wheel. And right now, during our 50th anniversary sale, you can save up to $50 on all our quality brake pads and shoes. Speedy Muffler Brake and Wheel, serving Canadians since 1956.
You did an amazing job on the cabinet, honey.
The Mastercraft Hawkeye folding table saw has an innovative laser sight. That means